Hear us? He seems not to be able to.
Charles, can you hear us? Chuck?
Earth to Chuck.
Is someone waiting in the...
Unmute.
Can you hear?
Can you hear us, Chuck?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yay! I like your haircut. It looks nice.
What's left of it?
You look good.
Tom did a nice job, Chuck.
Yes, he does. I think we should go for a 2-for-1 special, Jay.
Yeah, because he's not cutting a whole head of hair between the two of us.
No.
So, all right, I think we're going to get rolling here, folks. So let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All stand. Rise, if that's what you're supposed to say. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We'll note that a quorum is present and move to the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of the agenda and the meeting for this meeting and the minutes from our February 14, 2022 regular meeting. Were there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Give you a second to peek at them if you haven't. If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Sure.
Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizens' comments?
Here's what you have, a citizen on Zoom. If I can see it. Sheila.
What's the
Not
chat?
there now, so.
What did the chat say?
It was Chuck saying he was muted.
Dream come true? No.
I heard that.
You turn it on. There we go.
All right, if there are no citizen comments, we'll move to the finance report.
Is there a message there on the screen?
Chuck saying thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it provided the profit and loss and the balance sheet that Carrie provided for the ending of February 2022. She's still working through getting the chart of accounts and all that stuff in place. We did meet with a consultant last week in discussion over how to best place the Redevelopment Authority's properties onto the books as far as assets and liabilities. So she's going to start working on that. We kind of got to go through some files from every one of those properties and hopefully try to, we either got to 100% prove that we have all the fees associated with the taking and demolition of those documented in the files, or then we have to go another route if we can't do that. So that's the next big step of getting those put in there. So that's the finance report.
Any questions for Aaron regarding the financial reports? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Sure.
I'll approve.
Rose?
Chuck Scalise.
Okay. You can pick whether Rose moved and Chuck seconded or vice versa. Any discussion regarding the financials? If not, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Report of the Executive Director.
All right, thank you. I'll start with the Rehabilitation Report. Lead grant is moving along. We have 24 projects completed with quite a few under contract, ready to move into the next quarter. The current quarter, of course, ends the end of March, and then we'll move on to starting to get some projects into that process, along with getting some apps processed. We're still looking at CDBG projects. We're looking at home projects for the city of Erie, along with the county CDBG and Act 137 programs within the county. And then the R West Bayfront Housing Authority has moved forward still with evaluating more units for them. So we're working on that. Looks like they want to evaluate at least 50 more of their housing units to assess their lead hazard issues. So we're moving through that. Oh, and then, contractors. We did successfully have 4 lead abatement contractors in the supervisor class. So we're going to work on getting those individuals certified to get their company certified as lead abatement contractors and continue to build upon that contractor base.
That's good news.
So that's the rehabilitation report.
Questions regarding the rehab report? If not, motion to approve the rehab report.
So moved.
Second.
Sure.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Attorney Sundberg, report of the solicitors, sir.
Good afternoon. I have provided everyone with the memorandum for the solicitor's report. There's really 3 items that are continuing to be involved and kind of dog us here a little bit. The first of which is with 2708 Downing Street, Zach Associates. We just received last week the formal opinion from Judge Piccinini. That is the opinion which forms the basis of the appeal. So if I've attached it, so when you read this opinion, going to be surprised if this appeal is successful. He was very pointed, very thorough. So I think that he's going to find, Commonwealth Court is certainly going to find in our favor, but we're going through the process and jumping over the hoops to get to that point. The second one is another matter that's still been going on for a while, 405 East 7th Street, just with James Watford. He has filed an appeal to the Commonwealth Court. This is the gentleman who was residing in the condemned house, had the electricity on, and we were so very much and still very much concerned about that situation. I have filed a petition for writ of possession with the court because we have attempted on a couple of occasions to secure the property, to change the locks, to board it up, to prevent access to the property. Most recently this past week, when he was inside, would not respond. He's periodically in there. It's hard for us to say whether he's residing there, but he is there on a regular basis, and there was a dog in there as well. So with that, we felt the necessity to go ahead and file the petition for writ of possession. I have received notification from the Stoner Law Firm in Pittsburgh that they are going to file a response to the petition for writ of possession. So that'll be interesting. That hearing is set for March 17th in a few days here. And then the last one is the father, Melvin Easterling, at 615 Parade Street. Again, an appeal was filed, but nothing has happened with regard to the appeal other than the appeal itself. They have not filed their questions and issues on appeal for review. So I'm anticipating that Judge Piccinini will go ahead and put together an opinion much like what he's done with Zach Associates, despite the fact that they have not filed their specific issues that they're objecting to on appeal. So we're pushing these forward as quickly as possible. The one that's obviously of question and concern is with regard to James Watford, but that'll come to a head probably on Thursday. So we'll know more, and I'll update the board. If there's any questions, more than happy. When you read the opinion again, as I had previously indicated, the court acknowledged and appreciated the time, the effort, the testimony, and the documentation of the executive director, that was key. That was key to his findings. So again, I want to acknowledge that for our executive director and his work on these properties. So thank you.
Thanks, Gene.
Questions for Attorney Sundberg? No? Thorough report. Thank you, sir. Aaron, back to you for any general updates or information.
All right, just a couple general updates. We continue to work with the EMTA on the Rackley Union Square project. We're moving forward on that. I think we've almost come to the point to get all the final documentation for segment 3. We're working on putting together the revised documentation for segment 5, since they finally have what they hope will be their financing in order for that project. So we just got to revise the scope, update some timelines, and get that documentation over to the state for their approval. As far as the Director of Finance position, we had 2 interviews last week, have another 3 scheduled for this week. So hopefully after that, we'll be able to narrow it down to at least 2 and then bring them back in and hopefully come to a successful candidate there. Also been advertising for a property blight coordinator, somebody to come in and help with the authority properties, the land bank properties, and all of the work that goes along with that. So that position's out there. We got quite a few applications for that. So we'll start reviewing those applications as soon as we identify a finance person. And as far as the Erie Land Bank goes, 10 properties are scheduled and approved for demolition, and then the 19 properties from the judicial tax sale have been deeded over to the land bank. So those will be evaluated and discussed at next Monday's meeting as far as how to proceed with those. So that's my update.
Questions for Aaron? All right, unfinished and new business. I see we have 2 proposals to purchase vacant land. You've advised them that each of those comes with 50 bonus parcels.
I'm sure Matt would love that. You know, and in talking with them, we don't own a lot in their target area, unfortunately. So, you know, they were wondering how many we have, but we don't have a lot in their target area, but we could. So potentially down the road we may. But so they're interested in the 2 parcels there at the corner, basically the northwest corner of 10th and Parade Street. They're 2 vacant parcels we've had for some time. They currently have an agreement with the church right there to maintain those as green space. We have received offers on these parcels in the past. However, they were very vague without much detail, were planned for the properties, and they were, you know, $200, $300. So we always in the past had declined those offers based upon no set plan or development for the property. But these 2 parcels, or 2 proposals, came from the Eastside Renaissance Incorporated, who is doing the big drive there on Parade Street and the development with a lot of those commercial structures there from 9th to, I believe, 7th Street. So they provided, and I emailed you out last week, their kind of general plan for the area and how they would like to purchase these properties with the hope that it would be incorporated into their plan some way, either through, as they indicate, off-street parking or potential commercial building development down the road.
Questions regarding the offers? Seem to be virtually identical.
Mr. Chair, Chuck Scalise here, if I just can have a comment.
Go right ahead, Chuck.
So looking at the photograph that was sent in the package, of course, these are the corner lots, and I don't know if there's a way that we can help encourage responsible or very attractive development because of the significance of the corner. This is really kind of the gateway to Parade Street, heading north, of course, and would like to find a way to help the developers do a really great job.
So Aaron, when we convey these, do we do this similar to the old land disposition agreements where we have some type of requirements for them to develop the property in a certain way, and if they don't within a certain period of time, we have a right of reverter and all that, or do we just give them a deed?
It has been that we basically just quitclaim deed the property over to them with no ties to any kind of development, and that has caused some issues, specifically in the Center City area, with a lot of the lots that were deeded over to people who said they were going to build townhomes, and those still are undeveloped. So it is something that, you know, moving forward, I think, you know, specifically with certain parcels, when it's not deemed as a side lot, that, you know, we could convey it over with a developer's agreement,
I think
would
that
be
would,
my opinion.
I think that would be consistent with what Chuck's raising, and I think it makes good sense, because this is a key parcel now, and God bless them for their game plan, but we want to make sure that they're able to complete the project.
Understood and agreed.
With that
Thank you.
caveat, would there be motion to approve these two sales? I think we can take them together to East Side Renaissance.
Mr. Chair, I'll be happy to make that motion.
Okay, and Kevin, you seconded? All right, discussion. If not, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Just the time delay, he's not opposed. Motion carries. Race identity website.
All right. So, as you guys may or may not be aware, the Redevelopment Authority's legal name is the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Erie. Back somewhere around 2010, prior administration had changed it over to the Erie Redevelopment Authority. So it causes a lot of confusion as we enter into grant agreements and other conversations with the community that, you know, a lot of our stuff goes out with the Erie Redevelopment Authority logo and letterhead and that. So the thought is, you know, and my recommendation is that we go back to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Erie. That is our legal name, that is our employer tax ID number. Everything is focused around that, and it just, for clarity purposes, it helps as far as identify what our true mission is. So the top logo on there, of course, was the one I pulled off of an old document from back in the day, and then, you know, of course, our current one, and then one we just kind of updated as far as, you know, refreshing that. But we're still working through a logo, but I feel it's imperative as we move forward, especially with the website. So to kind of segue into that, the current website is operated by WorkBot. However, we're not able to update it. The system and infrastructure that it sits on, we can't upload files. We just can't. It's limited, it's dated. I don't know when we upgraded to it, but so we have to go through that process of updating the website. So in an effort to do that, you know, during that transition and making the new website would be to make it over to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Erie. I mean, still under redeveloperie.org, but under the name that is registered to us. So
Who changed it?
I believe that was back under the John Elliott era.
Well, I think they were trying to make it modern and
More Erie.
catchier, and they had the renew, rebuild, revitalize, and so
Right.
on. But it did, I think, cause confusion, particularly now that the County Redevelopment Authority has become more active. And you hear people say, well, like we see it all the time, there's a mortgage to the Redevelopment Authority, and they don't know which one they're talking about or who they need to contact, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of mail for Erie County Redevelopment Authority. And, I mean, it's just a mailman putting it in the wrong box, but.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to go back to that, and you can work out a,
So I guess I'm asking for the
Logo.
board, yeah, I guess I'm asking for the board to approve us to start working on redesigning the logo and then working on an RFP for a website so that we can get those pieces in place once we have the funding available to get that stuff updated.
is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Seconded, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All righty.
All right, thank
We'll
you.
have to wait a little bit longer before we do the opposed. The Authority Financial Advisory Services.
So, as I said, we met with a financial consultant last week to ask some questions, and through this transition and in working with Carrie on the financial part of the authority and that, and a lot of questions come up, and I feel it would be best if we get an RFP for a financial consulting for the authority to especially for a new person coming in, to have the ability to ask somebody who has a better idea of how stuff should be done, how stuff should be charted, and things along those lines, to make sure that the authority's finances are the way they should be. You know, there's some things came up in looking at stuff during that meeting last week that, you know, I didn't have the answer for, Carrie didn't have the answer for, just because I think over the years with an average 2-year turnover, you know, things just kind of, nobody knows, you know. So I think in an effort to get everything streamlined and back in place, to have RFP for financial consultant is the best thing for the authority at this point, to have that ability to lean on somebody with experience like that.
And is it your anticipation this would be a CPA firm different from our auditor? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I don't know if you've had any history, or maybe Chuck or Rose, you've had any history with the Alliance for Nonprofits out of Butler County. I was connected with them through the nonprofit partnership, right? The NPP, nonprofit partnership out of the Community Foundation. And they have for groundwork Erie and to help us prop it up. And they provide services, legal, HR, pretty much website design, IT assistance for nonprofits. And I'm not sure if they only can work with nonprofits or if government, you know, quasi-government agencies would also qualify. But I would be happy, I can connect you. They've been extremely responsive for our needs. But again, they have experts in every area that nonprofits really need.
Who's your contact there?
His name is going to escape me. I'll look it up on my phone, but they've put me in connection with a bunch of different consultants who would help with HR, IT. So happy to connect you with them. I didn't know if anyone had had any experience with them. Alliance for Nonprofits, Chuck, that doesn't ring a bell?
I don't know them, I'm sorry.
Okay. I know Erie Arts and Culture, they are using them for a number of different services. So that might be something that...
Okay.
Say the name of the organization.
Alliance for Nonprofits. They're located in Butler County.
Well, I don't think there would be any harm in going down two paths. See if we could reach out to them and also putting an RFP together, so we're not wasting time going one direction and finding out it's a dead end. I don't know that you need a motion for that. Glad to get you one if you feel more comfortable with it.
No, just wanted to put it in front of the board and see how, you know, if you guys felt the same.
Do you have someone currently here that you're thinking about?
The company that we, and the name escapes me at the moment, met with last week have been very accommodating to Carrie and her questions and my questions, you know, and it's kind of one of those that, you know, they're of course, you know, willing to provide us, you know, and answer questions free, but at this point, you know, I don't want to continue to stretch them along to the point that, you know, we're not compensating them for it, but they've been extremely helpful, you know, pro bono for us.
I think one of the things that I would be interested in is any collaboration we can get out of one of these organizations as far as who they work with in the county. There's so much funding that is floating right now. It might help us by leveraging and that certainly will be your homework with these two agencies, but it's more than worth it.
Point taken.
And carry forth
All right.
the housing plan.
Okay, so just to update there, we have executed and signed the subrecipient agreement with the City of Erie for the funding. Some things have changed with that. I guess I'll say we signed the agreement. We're going to get the administrative cost up front along with a third of the other program costs, but some additional money needs to be worked through with the city, and then we will get that additional funding as soon as that issue is resolved on that end. So, but the subrecipient agreement's been signed. We're just waiting for it to come back, and then we will submit our payment request to the city for that first draw of art money.
That should be resolved by the early April. I'm sure Jackie probably informed you.
So just an update there. That is all I have.
Any other business to be brought before the board? Mr. Troop, anything you'd like to say, sir? No, sir. All right. Your input and insights are always welcome. If nothing further, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
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 Oh, I like this. There. Must be official.